everyone. So if you follow me on Instagram, you must have noticed that I've been posting stories about our field trip to the East Coast. So I came here to kind of walk you through where we went, what did we do, and why did we do it. So let's get started. So my daughter is almost 6 now, and she did a lot of read alouds history, where she studied about the first president, and we read the Who books about the presidents, and then we studied about the White House, and she's been following the elections, and we've studied about Liberty, Statue of Liberty, and we've been doing a little bit about states. And my younger one, she is almost 3.5 years old. So we thought that this Memorial Day weekend, of course 8 days, we decided to go off season. We were done with our kindergarten, and before we started first grade, we thought of going for a field trip with our family to the East Coast. So we went, we covered 6 states. We flew to Massachusetts from the Bay Area. We got a rental car, and then we did a road trip from Massachusetts to DC, and then we took a flight back to the Bay Area from Virginia. So the first day we went was we stayed in a lot of hotels. My daughters enjoyed it. It was tiring. We walked a lot and we explored a lot. We had a lot on our itinerary, but we got everything done, and I have video recorded most everything that we covered during the trip. First place we went was Massachusetts. I made sure that my daughters read a few things about the state. We studied the state map, what it looks like, what's the capital of the state, and the big thing that we studied before and had read was the Boston Tea Party. So we booked our tickets for the Boston Tea Party. We did all the bookings prior because this happened during COVID, and when things were really opening up, but we had to pre-book so that they have limited people and they know how many people are coming. So we did all our pre-bookings. We booked everything before, like I said. So we booked Boston Tea Party on the website. I'll be linking the Boston Tea Party website in the description box. Then, so the next day we reached at night, and the next day we left for our Boston Tea Party. It was a wonderful tour, like kind of reliving the 1700s and throwing a little makeshift bag of tea, and then walking my girls to what happened at different stations and going on the ship. So we did that. It took around 2 hours. We sipped some tea from that time, and then we went to the Boston Harbour. We were walking. We wanted to see the Atlantic Ocean, so we spent some time there, and then we field trail and we observed a few things. We absolutely love Earl of Sandwich, which is not found here. We ate that for lunch, and then we just grabbed some food, Chipotle, and then we had to drive to Connecticut. So our hotel was there, and the next day we were planning to drive to New York. So we lived in Connecticut, and next day left for New York. The thing we planned for New York that day was to visit the Natural History Museum, that American Natural History Museum. It's one of the best museums, and we spent almost the entire day. We pre-booked with taking tickets. If you are a New York resident or you know someone, then you could get tickets through them. But we all since it was Memorial Day weekend, all of our friends and family were out of state. So we bought our tickets online, and then we went there at around 10 o'clock. We reached by we went in by 11. We did all the parking. My husband usually bought garage parking on Groupon, so we parked because usually New York, you usually travel by subway. We had our rental cars, so we parked it there. We spent some time in Natural History Museum, and then we did a little Central Park, and then we went hotel. The next day we left from our hotel, and we went to Statue of Liberty, Liberty Island. I had booked everything. We had booked a tour, a ferry to Liberty Island and Ellis Island, and I booked it through the website and the government website. We did. It was a rainy day. We somehow managed to see it. I had to get it done, but that day we didn't take our car because the previous day we drove for 3 hours. It was a 5-mile drive, but we drove for 3 hours in New York traffic. So we knew that we wanted to go by subway. So we were staying in Jersey. We parked near Journal Square. Took a train from Journal Square to go to World Trade Center, and from there we took the ferry to Liberty Island and Ellis Island. And so we spent almost the entire day there, and then came back to Jordan Square, got our car, and drove back to our hotel. So after we saw Lady Liberty, my daughters were in awe to see such a beautiful, such a tall, historic piece of art. We went to the Liberty Museum, and it's just such a wonderful museum to see, walk us through all the different steps and how was Liberty made, and how why was it given to us, and the torch that was first with Lady Liberty and now it is in the museum because it was getting bad. It's made out of stained glass. So it was really nice to see that. We spent a couple of hours there, and then we took a ferry to go to Ellis Island. A great museum. We loved seeing how people immigrated. It's more about immigration, how people came to the Ellis Island. And then after that, we went back home. We took our car and we came to Jordan Square by subway, World Trade Center, Jordan Square. And then we went back home. Then we went for pizza. We went to Giordano's Pizza place in New Jersey. It was wonderful. Then we went back home and we went to sleep. And then the next day we had half a day in New York. So we took another subway and we went to Times Square. It was raining, so we just spent a little time there. I just wanted to show my daughters around, and then we spent like half an hour there and came back. And that same day, we drove to Philadelphia. We reached Philadelphia around night. We stayed there, and the next day we went to see Independence Hall. We went to see the Liberty Bell. We went to see Alphil's Alley. So that's something that we did. There were museums there. We did that. At Independence Hall, we weren't aware that we were supposed to book the tickets online to see where the Constitution was written and where the Declaration of Independence was signed. So there's this museum, and they do sell tickets it's free, but they do give out tickets in the morning. So you go early in the morning, you stand in a line, and then you get your ticket to go into Independence Hall. So we couldn't do that, but then I definitely told my daughter what happened inside that building. So that's something you should do. And then after that, we went back to hotel, and the next day we left for DC. We were in DC for 1.5 days. So there's a lot of walking in DC. The Smithsonian museums were closed, but we wanted to see all the memorials because that's what my daughters have learned. And we went to see the Capitol building first. Then we went. Then we went to the George Washington Memorial. So beautiful. Read about George Washington. And then we went to see the World War II Memorial. And then the next day we went to see White House. We couldn't see much of it. There was some construction going on. And then we went to see Abraham Lincoln. We saw Abraham Lincoln the previous day. We went to see Martin Luther King Memorial, Jefferson Memorial. So I have a few clips from all these places that we went. We learned a lot. We collected a lot of stamps. Oh yes, and when we went to White House, we did Spark, and that was a museum. My daughters love to collect the Junior Ranger journals, and then they work on it, and then they take an oath to protect our national parks, and then they get their badges. So we have a lot of badges from a lot of museums trips that we have done. So we collected that. We did the President Park Museum. We learned about how the White House was built, and the East Wing and the West Wing look different, and it's how huge it is, and a little more history. We did that, and like I said, we did the memorials, and then the next day we completed what was left from our memorials. There was a lot of halal food options there, lots of food trucks. We had some yummy food there, and then we were done with our 8-day trip. I said it very quickly, but there was so much more to it. We enjoyed it. We got tired. We took breaks, and just learned so much. So now I'm going to show you all clips of a little bit of what we did in all these different states and all the history that we studied. We came back and we collected a lot of cards, and we stuck it, made a little book, a travel journal. We collected our badges. We made a little badge, national park badges, Junior Ranger badges, on a little board, and we put it in our homeschool room. And we also came back and we did some more recap. We studied a little bit more about the states, and I'm so excited that every time we read books, we come across these different memorials and these different historic events and these founding fathers, we will have a memory that we went for a field trip. So we absolutely love traveling and going for field trips in our home school, and it was just so beautiful. And if you have any comments about how we did it, where we did it, I'm going to put most of it in the description box. So yeah, a lot of planning, a lot of reading that we've done before. We stayed in several hotels. We just had one bag, a carry-on, and we did our laundry. We made sure we had laundry in our hotel, so we could travel light. It was so much fun. So yes, now some glimpses about our trip. Hope you enjoy coming along. If you have any questions, check my description box, and if you have some more questions, then leave it in the comments section. And if you found this video helpful and would like to see more, then subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Enjoy.
You all down to Griffin's Wharf on such a drizzly, cold December evening.
To dump the tea.
Oh, excellent! Straightforward. I love it. Yes. Much appreciated. So, well, this is the Eleanor. She has 114 crates aboard her, and well, I should probably warn you in advance. This is an act of treason you're about to commit. I don't want that to discourage anyone. We do need all the help we can get this evening, but it's just important to forewarn you. But the good news is, in order to charge anyone with treason, you do need to push the people inside to your boat. Friends, I must ask, have any of you been aboard a vessel such as this before? Oh, well, I've been the cause for celebration, but we have much work to attend to on this night. Now, I'm sure Miss Brown made you well aware of the possible dangers of... I am pretty He's a rebel already.
Come right along. I should more accurately call all you criminals. Ooh, don't worry, we're all criminals tonight, Patriots. Some of us a little more experienced than others. I see these two probably got started young early. That's the right way to, as I say. Well, Patriots, first off, how was your time on...
Yesterday, there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. reaching for the grand. As willows align, we lose track of time. Head up high, now we climb. Oh, dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes. Undercover agents of the other. Beyond gravel, beyond dawn. A bigger scale, the world inhales as we go. I wouldn't want it any other way, no. Dreamy, breezy, we go. Easy, easy on our tiptoes. Undercover agents of the other. Beyond gravel.
I will share what I learned
I will share what I learned
with the components of the Okay, good job. One of these and one of these. And yeah, two for your sister too.
Thank you. Say thank you.
Thank you.
Yesterday, there was sun and there was rain. Beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise. And now, there's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer